You'll also see in the syllabus a breakdown of all of the assignments and their percentage impact on your overall grade. This list you see here does not include the 20% participation that comes from you responding to the discussion prompts and your classmates. Group work, you'll be engaging in 3 projects with your client group. Everybody will select into a client group, no more than 4 people per group. We're going to be looking at 2 different industries over the course of this semester for media planning, and you'll be either as a client group working for one of the major companies in the fast food industry or one of the major companies in the sports apparel industry. You are working together to create what's called a media brief, which is something a client would give to an ad agency or a media planner that helps them understand what are the marketing objectives and or the target audience characteristics, a little bit of information about the brand, so the media planner knows how to best plan for your media objective, your target audience, and the strategy that will be employed for your media plan. This will be a short 1 to 2 page paper, and there's templates all over the internet and examples. So even though it will be due very quickly, there's a lot of support that exists in the world. And I just want you to get a chance to work with the group to understand not only what are the elements of what needs to be communicated to a media planner, but you're going to be on the other side of the pages for all your individual work. So if you select into a client group that's in the fast food industry, you'll be assigned as a media planner, as an agency rep for all of your individual work for the other industry, the sports apparel industry, and vice versa. If you sign up into a client group that's looking at hiring a media planner, if you sign up for a client group that's in the sports apparel industry, then what's going to happen for your individual work is you'll be assigned to one of the fast food companies for your individual work. So I'm not sure that matters so much to you, but you may have opinions about what you want to do for a client side work versus what you want to do for your individual work. When you do your individual work, again, you're going to be playing the role of a media planner or an agency rep. It's the same position. So media planners work for agencies, and what they do is they take the media brief or the creative brief from their client. They look at what the marketing objectives are, and then they create media objectives. They scan and decide what are your competitors doing. So that's the competitive analysis piece of the work. And then they begin to really examine the target audience that the client wants to reach. How do they consume media? At what point in this purchasing process are they? And what media do they rely on at that point in the purchasing process, or what part of the purchasing funnel are they in? Then they'll create media strategy. What ads will appear online or through traditional media? And then there's also the distinctions of paid, owned, and earned media. How do you create strategy aligned to those? And you'll make recommendations to your client. Then you'll be getting feedback from your client group. Those are the other 2 pieces of group client work there. Your individual work will be submitted to your client group, and they'll be providing you feedback. Every client group will have 3 to 4 classmates that are serving as their media planner or agency rep, and essentially they give you feedback when you're doing your individual work that helps you create an even stronger final presentation, which will include a budget and evaluation plan. How are you evaluating if your plan is working? What are the measures you're using? The idea here then is the final thing the group will do is look at all of the submitted final presentations from their classmates, which will be 3 or 4, and they decide which plan they will run with. And that person who the group decides has the best presentation will receive 15 extra credit points for the project, and also everyone will again receive feedback from their client group as well. This strengthens your ability to understand how to work from a client side and also from a media planner or agency side, and so this is why the course is constructed this way. Also keep in mind that the weekly quizzes are 20 points each. They're only going to be, again, multiple choice and short answer, true, false. There will be no essay questions on the quizzes. Same with the final exam. This is just to build your core content that tells me that you understand the marketing concepts presented in the readings and course materials and instructional videos. One of the first things you need to do, other than submitting your syllabus confirmation, is to also sign up for a group. This happens very quickly. It should be done by April 8th, which is Monday. You will be assigned to a group if you do not select into one by Monday, April 8th. You want to make sure you pick a team of like-minded people, so make sure you really pay attention to class discussion, see which classmates that you sort of have an affinity for and or maybe think the way you think or have a shared interest. Maybe you even notice something in a classmate that balances out a growth area for you where they have a strength in that area. You will be responsible for working together as a team. To the extent your team does not function the way you would like it to, you need to work and persist through that. There will be no changes made to groups. After April 8th, when the sign-ups are completed, there will be absolutely no changes to groups, so you do have to persist through any uncomfortable moments and work through it. So some tips to make sure you are selecting as best you can your group members is you can message them on Canvas if you want to consider joining a team or building a team. Every team will be assigned a group leader. That's the first person who signs up for a team, and or at some point if I notice that someone who is a leader is not stepping up to the plate, I'll reassign a new leader for the team. But you can ask questions on Canvas through private messages. Don't put this out in the public, but maybe you want to ask, would you like to be on my team, and do you prefer to lead, or would you like to be on my team if I'm the leader? That sort of question's a good one to ask. Maybe you want someone who's a big picture thinker because you're a detail-oriented person, or they're a really excellent writer where maybe English is not your first language and you want to balance out your team with someone who's really proficient with the writing piece of the work, but you have a good organizational ability and or creative thinking process that would balance out that team. Do you want to work with people who look ahead and get stuff done early, or are you the kind of person who's like, I don't even want to think about this until a week or 2 weeks before it's due? So make sure it's a cultural match in that way. Which days and times work for you to work together? If your schedules in real life just don't sync up, that may not work. Another big thing to ask, do you like to meet in person to work on your projects or talk online? Since this is an online course, most of you are probably comfortable working online, but that's not always the case. Some people do prefer to still meet in person, yet other people are taking an online course because for a variety of reasons they can't meet in person. And what communications platform do you like to use? If you are very comfortable using something like Google Teams or Box or Dropbox, and that's really what you prefer to use, make sure you communicate that. If you're open to anything, that's also a good thing to let people know. All of those team sharing things have slight differences, but they're mostly the same, but some people develop a comfort level with some more than others. And then also, how would you split up assignments? How are you all going to tackle to the work together? So for this course, 2 of the assignments are really about everyone in the team reading the submissions from their classmates and all giving feedback that you agree on. So you shouldn't divide and separate out the work too much. You should all sort of rally around what are the most salient things to say for feedback. You may think you want to list a million things to say, but the work of the team is to really think about the 1 or 2 things in each criteria or area that is the highest leverage feedback, and that requires the team to agree. What is it we want to say to help our classmate make their final presentation stronger? All of the group work needs to only be submitted by one person. It cannot be split up and submitted by different people. So again, the group leader will always have the responsibility to make sure that everything is uploaded on time as instructed. The first week requires you to read chapter 1 of the advertising media planning and discuss. You're going to be discussing essentially what is media planning and understanding what media means in the context of media planning. What are the different classes of media, again, in the context of media planning? And what are some procedures, practices, and principles in media planning? The chapter is not very long, and so it'll give you lots of ideas. And again, please do this reading before you engage in the class discussion, which is due very quickly tomorrow. So make sure you just do a quick read and get on that discussion board. Start to look at your interactions with your classmates and see, who's showing up in a way that you might want to work with them for a group project. And finally, there's a short article that reviews with you what the differences between paid, owned, and earned media are. This will be definitely on your upcoming quiz, but I also want you to discuss it out as a class so you make sure you're very clear about it. Your media plans will require you to not only say where your ad runs will be placed in terms of traditional, non-traditional media, digital media, outdoor, out-of-home media, but you also have to understand which of those areas you want paid, owned, and earned media to align to your marketing or media planning strategies. And also knowing how to measure each of the above is very important. There are lots and lots of measures that exist in the world that companies rely on to know, is their ad run producing the response that they're hoping it will, and in what ways can we be planning out how we are going to measure the effectiveness or the impact of our ad placement so we can optimize them while the ad campaign is running. And finally, if you have any questions, please message me on Canvas or email me at rex.bobish@bellevuecollege.edu or call me at 240-394-1248. Thank you and good luck.